No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of Friday Night Smackdown for June 17th, 2022. Man, this has been a noteworthy week. Today has been crazy. The entire week has been wild. Big thank you to everybody out there for following NoDQ.com. I really do appreciate your support. And if you're enjoying this video, please give it a like and spread the word. Tell a friend. We have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. Of course, the big news story today, Vince McMahon is temporarily stepping down as CEO of WWE, stepping down as the chairman. Stephanie McMahon, his daughter, who took a leave of absence 1 month ago, is already back. Now, one important thing to note, in the press release, it was stated that Vince McMahon will still be running creative as this investigation into misconduct continues. NoDQ.com has all the details on that. Head over there. You can read the press release if you missed it. So Vince was announced for SmackDown earlier today. And I'm thinking, this is interesting. Vince McMahon, sure enough, made an appearance at the very beginning of the show, got a huge pop. Crowd cheered for him like crazy, despite all the news that's out there about him, that he allegedly paid $3 million in hush money to hide an affair. Now there's an investigation as to whether or not he is or was using corporate funds, paying this paralegal money while they were in a relationship. Crowd cheered Vince. He came to the ring and he said it was a pleasure or a privilege to stand in the ring in front of the WWE Universe, as always. And he said that there are the 4 words in the signature opening: then, now, forever, together. And then he said, "Welcome to SmackDown." And that was it. He threw down the mic and walked off. And I'm watching this and I'm like, wow, that was something. To me, this was, and I put this on Twitter, Vince McMahon going out there and basically giving a big FU to every critic that he has. That was Vince McMahon being defiant as he is. And it's so weird because I felt like I was shocked by it. However, at the same time, that was like the most Vince McMahon thing to do. Go out there and just introduce the show, basically trolling everybody. We were all wondering, is he going to go out there and actually acknowledge the allegations? Is there going to be something involving Stephanie? But no, he just went out there and welcomed everybody to the show. And that was that. And I guess we're all in it together. It was crazy. Not much else to say about it. We do have a lot to talk about, so we'll move on here. There's just so much going on. It's really overwhelming to keep up with. I mean, this has been one of the busiest news weeks in a very long time. I think back to like the CM Punk pipe bomb. That time period was crazy when CM Punk quit. And when COVID hit, that was newsworthy. But man, this week has been insane. I haven't really had a break the entire day. It's been unreal. Not that I'm complaining, it's good for business, but it's been busy, guys. So let's move on here. Riddle came to the ring for a promo, and basically he talked about Randy Orton. He said that Randy Orton is watching, and he noted that Randy Orton has a big operation coming up. Now, apparently Randy Orton is legitimately injured, some kind of a back injury, and he could be out of action for several months, which puts him out of SummerSlam. It was rumored that Randy Orton was going to be the opponent for Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, but that is out. And we'll talk more about SummerSlam here in just a few minutes. So Riddle wished Orton well, said that he misses Randy. The fans miss him. He loves Randy, and said he is going to dedicate the title match against Roman Reigns in the main event to the Viper, Randy Orton. And he even had Randy Orton's music play as the segment closed out. Oh boy, here we go. Hamp Connell sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, Vince McMahon did not sleep with that paralegal. In fact, he was up all night. Little reference to the Shawn Michaels DX political speech mocking Bill Clinton from 1998. We had a last laugh match between Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin. Moss is from Minnesota. This show was at the Target Center in Minneapolis. He got a huge ovation for being the hometown guy. And it was pretty basic of a match. Moss hit a fall-away slam, picked up some momentum, but then he was sent into the ring post. And you had the usual moves from Corbin, the deep six. Moss kicked out of that. Moss was driven into the post again. They were both on the outside of the ring, and Moss got in first. Corbin got in, barely beating the 10 count, and then Moss immediately hit him with the punchline and then finished him off with a second punchline. Is this feud finally done? I'm thinking it is, because we had a little tease for perhaps a new match. Afterwards, Corbin got on the mic and was picking a fight with one Pat McAfee. You had Corbin bringing up how all Pat McAfee does is mock him and insult him. Corbin said it was McAfee who coined the phrase bum-ass Corbin. And he said that Pat better watch his mouth or else he'll make Pat wish that Pat was dead. And Pat was not taking this. He got on the mic and he said that he is, in fact, bum-ass Corbin. And Pat had the crowd laugh at Corbin, which they did. And Corbin just walked off. But you know Corbin's not going to take this lightly. And I suspect we're going to get Corbin versus Pat McAfee, which, hey, I'm fine with that. It ends the Moss feud and we get Pat McAfee in a match. Sure, let's do it. I'm game. We had the Street Profits hyping up the main event and Money in the Bank. And then we had Natalya backstage cutting a promo saying that the sharpshooter is the most dangerous move in wrestling and Ronda Rousey is at home licking her wounds. I still don't think Natalya has any chance in hell, to use Vince's term, of winning at Money in the Bank. I'm willing to predict now, maybe somebody will just predict the opposite to screw me over, but I have a feeling everybody on the No DQ Predictions League will pick Ronda Rousey. We'll see if somebody decides to pick Natalya just to make me wrong. We had a little video package for the Viking Raiders. They will be back next week, so I guess they're not going to be coming as long as Jinder. I'm happy about that. I think that only Jinder. Did I just say Jinder? I meant Veer. I screwed up. As Noah Foster would say, botch. I meant Veer. Nobody comes more than Veer. And the Viking Raiders, shame on them for even coming for a couple of weeks. Nobody should ever come again because Veer is the one that made coming the thing in 2022. And everybody else is just a pretender to the throne. Steve-O says, free no DQ shirt if Natalya wins. I'll think about it, Steve-O. Maybe when we do the predictions video, I'll come up with something if Natalya wins, some kind of giveaway potentially. We had New Day versus Jinder. Speaking of Jinder Mahal and Shanky. And basically the storyline of this match is that Shanky, when he gets in the ring, he's serious. He means business. He was kicking some ass. But you had a little game plan from one Xavier Woods. Xavier started playing the trombone, and that transformed Shanky. Shanky became cool. And Jinder Mahal was not happy with this. Jinder tagged himself in, and then Kofi Kingston came out of nowhere, hit the tip, the Trouble in Paradise, and scored the victory. Jinder Mahal, of course, very upset with Shanky, that dancing fool. You play the music, and he just cannot help himself. He has to dance like he's on the dance floor. This whole storyline's goofy. I mean, whatever, but I'm sure the kids like it, and Vince likes it. He's still in charge of creative, so I suspect the dancing gimmick will continue. Vince just loves dancing. That is his idea of entertainment. Look back at when he was at the Slammy Awards back in '87, and he performed Stand Back. Like that, as far as Vince is concerned, is peak entertainment, when a guy is dancing and shaking his ass for everybody. We had Drew McIntyre come to the ring. Adam Pearce was there. You had Sheamus backstage with Butch and Ridge Holland, and Butch wanted to go out there and fight Drew McIntyre. Sheamus had to hold them back. He came to the ring, and we had a little segment here where Adam Pearce was going to announce who would advance to Money in the Bank. Last week, they both got counted out, or actually it was a double DQ. So neither of them advanced. Pearce then said he made a decision. The decision was that Sheamus is in Money in the Bank. Sheamus was very happy. He started gloating. And then McIntyre attacked him. Pearce had to calm McIntyre down and actually tell him McIntyre is also in Money in the Bank. Shout out to Joey for the Friday the 13th Part 4 reference. Where's the corkscrew? That is one of the best kills in Friday the 13th history. That's what he gets for dancing like that. So Sheamus got back into the ring, got hit with a Claymore. They're both in Money in the Bank. There you go. Backstage, Sami Zayn was outside the Bloodline locker room. Kayla Braxton snuck up behind him, was asking him about if there's any ill will between Zayn and the Bloodline, and he downplayed it, but then he said he had to go to the bathroom, and he walked off. So that was that. Next up, we had a Money in the Bank qualifying match. Raquel Gonzalez up against Shayna Baszler. We had pre-match promos from them. Lacey Evans was on commentary. Shotzi Blackheart and Aaliyah were watching backstage sideways, looking at the TV. Shayna got in some offense. Raquel was selling her leg, but then Raquel made her comeback, hit the power bomb. Pretty basic match here to advance. Poor Shayna Baszler, can't even qualify for Money in the Bank, and Lacey Evans gave her some applause. Building Nexus with the $2 super chat says, predictions for the remaining Money in the Bank participants. I mean, it could really be anybody, so I honestly have no idea without looking at the WWE roster, and I would have to look at the Money in the Bank card, and basically any key name that isn't already penciled in for a match, I would say could be in it. Hell, Shayna Baszler could be in it. She could win one of those last chance matches and get another opportunity at Money in the Bank. I'm not even sure if they're doing 6 people or 8 people. I have no freaking clue at this point. I only know that Seth freaking Rollins or Franklin is in Money in the Bank, and now Sheamus is in and Drew McIntyre is in. For the women, we got Raquel Gonzalez in it. We got Liv Morgan in it, Lacey Evans. Maybe Naomi comes back. Probably not this soon. Maybe AJ Styles gets in, last chance opportunity, as Tic Tat Tat pointed out. I mean, AJ should definitely be in it. He lost the qualifying match, but I could see him winning one of these last chance matches that they seem to do every year. We had Riddle coming down to the ring for the main event. Well, actually, I don't think he came out quite yet. They did one of these deals on TV where the main event is coming up next, but then there's a bunch of other stuff that happens before it. Nakamura made a brief cameo. Nakamura, he's in a qualifying match next week versus Sami Zayn. He gave Riddle a fist bump. We had a spotlight in the ring. No, it was not Dave Bautista. And Pat McAfee was like, is that Cena? Get it? But then we went backstage, and it was supposed to be the debut of the Max Dupree Maximum Male Model, whatever the hell it is. But Max was not satisfied with the lighting. He's not going to send his models out there with unsatisfactory conditions. And he told Adam Pearce that Pearce needs to fix it. Another week we have to wait until Mace finally shows up as the maximum male model. And maybe we get Mansoor doing his modeling as well. Maybe we just get completely different people in this group. Maybe we get nobody. Maybe this is like another version of Veer Coming, where Max is going to tease somebody every week and we're not going to get anybody. Gunther was backstage, and Mr. Kaiser, Ludwig Kaiser, whatever his name is, he talked about how victory was inevitable for Gunther, and people like Ricochet besmirched the championship. Lots of flash, little substance. Did Vince write this promo? And said that the championship, the intercontinental title, right? Intercontinental title on SmackDown, will never be held by an American again. Next week, it's going to be Gunther defending against Ricochet. Yawn. I mean, he already kicked Ricochet's ass. Why do we need another match? Seriously. Throw some other scrub in there to get his ass kicked by Gunther. We do not need to see another beatdown. But I guess Ricochet gets his rematch, so whatever. We then had our main event, which actually did get a pretty decent amount of time. Riddle challenging Roman Reigns for the WWE Unified Universal Championship, whatever it's called. And Riddle had a pretty hot start here, and Reigns had to flee to the outside of the ring. Riddle hit his corkscrew moonsault to the outside of the ring, and Reigns fought back during the commercial break. Riddle then made a comeback, hit the floating bro, but Reigns kicked out. Reigns hit a Uranagi, a little reference to The Rock, kick out again from Riddle. Riddle started doing the Randy Orton moves. He dropped Reigns on the announce table like what Orton always does. Crowd was chanting for Randy Orton, and Riddle hit the draping DDT. Reigns avoided an RKO, hit the Superman punch, but there was a kick out. Match continued, and Reigns countered another RKO attempt. Riddle tried to come off the ropes with a springboard move, but he got hit midair with the spear. 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns wins clean. Not surprised here. I mean, I thought it was a very good match, but to be totally honest, and this is a problem with AEW that I talk about sometimes, like I was never convinced for a second that Riddle had a chance of winning. Live crowd, however, they were eating it up. So more power to WWE and more power to AEW when the fans in the arena react to the near falls. But I was not all that invested in this because I never thought Riddle had a chance of winning the title. They could never get me invested. But crowd liked it, and technically it was a very good match. So I will give them credit for that. And then afterwards, you had Reigns cutting a promo, basically saying there's nobody left. He has gone through everybody, and now it's time to leave. And he said that everybody should acknowledge him. He started to walk off, and guess who's back? That's right. In his home state, Minneapolis's own, well, he's Canadian now, I guess, Saskatchewan. Brock Lesnar is back again. Even though Roman Reigns smashed him at WrestleMania, things happen, folks. People get hurt. Randy Orton got hurt. In case of emergency, break Brock Lesnar glass. Brock Lesnar is back to face Roman Reigns yet again. Crowd was loving it, though. Their hometown, home state boy, Brock Lesnar. He came to the ring, offered a handshake, and then he tricked Roman Reigns. He ended up giving him the F5. Usos got the F5, and Brock was left standing. And then WWE on social media officially confirmed it. The main event of SummerSlam is, in fact, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar again, only this time it is a last man standing match. I mean, I'm tired of it. I get that they needed to come up with something. I think they should have had Bobby Lashley in the spot, though, or even done like a triple threat. Like, I would have been fine with Lesnar in a triple threat situation. Another one-on-one match with these guys. I mean, I'm not that invested in it, and I still don't think Brock is winning the title. I mean, he could, but I think they're gonna do the Drew McIntyre match. Although they could do Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar at Clash at the Kingdom. I suppose Brock Lesnar could win the title. Maybe they do the triple threat at Clash at the Castle. Maybe Drew McIntyre faces Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns at Clash at the Castle. So I suppose Brock could win. Not a given that there will be a title change. So maybe it'll be fine. Maybe it'll be a good match. Maybe we'll get a title change. Who knows? I mean, surely Brock's not going to lose to him again. That's why I was thinking they could do a triple threat with Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam, and Lashley could take the fall or something like that. But yeah, Lesnar's back. I get it. They were going to go with Randy Orton. You had to bring in Brock Lesnar. That's all they got. I mean, Reigns is beating everybody else. They really have nobody else on the horizon, so it is what it is. Seth Rollins sent in a $5 super chat, says Ryback posted a picture of him getting a phone call from Laurinaitis. Is he the mysterious $3 million hush former employee? Ryback's just looking for attention. You guys know how Ryback is. He loves to troll people on Twitter and keep his name in the headlines. That's how he rolls. The game is on 100 with a $10 or $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says Lesnar reigns again. Reigns retains at SummerSlam. Obvious. See, I don't think that it's a sure thing because Roman is on a part-time schedule now. If Roman wasn't on the part-time schedule, I'd say there's no way he's losing that title until WrestleMania. I mean, unlikely. Nothing's a guarantee, but if Roman Reigns was still doing his thing, defending the title on a regular basis, I was thinking he was going to keep it through WrestleMania. Now I'm not so sure. Like I could definitely see him losing it at either SummerSlam or Clash of the Castle. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says predictions for Nakamura versus Zayn next week. I would like to see Nakamura in the match. I'd like to see both guys, really. It's one of those scenarios where I think both guys should be in it. I mean, if Nakamura doesn't even get in Money in the Bank, he's really got nothing going for him. Zayn can lose this, and he'll continue to be on TV, and he'll continue to do his thing. Unless WWE is actually considering a babyface turn for Zayn to possibly fight Reigns at some point, then I would have Nakamura win this one. Walter Cruz with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Walter. Says, Lesnar returning as a ratings ploy. Well, he's legitimately one of the biggest stars they have. So, of course, they're going to use him whenever possible. And I'm not really shocked he's back in the title picture because what else do you do with him? Roman has both titles, so you got to get him in the title picture if you're going to bring him back. I was just thinking maybe they could add somebody else to the match, like a triple threat to freshen things up a bit so it's not the same old Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar match we've seen many times over the years and several times over the past year itself. Overall, I thought SmackDown was a good show. Pretty solid show. I'm going to give it a B. I would have liked to have seen maybe somebody other than Lesnar show up at the end, like something really shocking. But all in all, good show. Main event was good. You got some Money in the Bank qualifiers. No real issues with SmackDown. The Vince promo was what it was. And I would say the show is a recommend. I mean, it was definitely a noteworthy show. That's it, everybody, for tonight. NoDQ.com will keep you updated. There's so much going on. Sasha Banks appears to be done with WWE. Head over to NoDQ.com for the latest on that. The latest regarding Vince McMahon. Injuries in the world of wrestling. Randy Orton is hurt. CM Punk is hurt. Bryan Danielson still out of action. NoDQ.com will keep you updated with all that. Have a great weekend, everybody. Subscribe if you haven't already. Tell a friend. Spread the word. And remember to say yes to NoDQ.com. See you all next time. And remember, Robbie is coming.